know what not to do on the internet, but then why do we keep doing it? You're watching Beyond the Trailers review of Men, Women, and Children.
Honey, you know I just do this to keep you safe. Okay, let me see your phone.
It's a bit of an invasion, don't you think?
Don't allow guilt to prevent you from doing what's right. You said something about video games?
My son's pretty into them, you know.
I'm very dangerous. I am keeping my daughter safe. And of course I can teach all of you how to do the same.
I have installed a camera in my daughter's brain and a 7-digit PIN code on her vagina.
If Hollywood has taught us anything, it's that humans have always been preoccupied with sex. And with the exception of the occasional scandal, humans have had to rely on their imagination for their fix. But in the digital age, you can indulge and build upon each and every one of those whims in a safe and private environment, your home. And if you wish to venture out of that safe and private environment, well, the internet will even help you there. Now again, all of this is private. That's the appeal. Now imagine Jason Reitman looking over your shoulder with a camera. With your activities no longer private, do you still feel safe? That's the exact question Reitman wants to explore here, both how we utilize technology and how we feel when people discover how we're using it. There's a definite ripped from the headlines quality here with bullying on social media, online role-playing games crossing over into the mainstream, and leaked selfies from both politicians and Hollywood ingenues. But just because you think about sex doesn't mean you can write about it, which Reitman learned the hard way with his last film, Labor Day. So to help him set the right tone here, he's teamed up once again with another screenwriter, this time Erin Cressida Wilson, an expert in critically acclaimed erotica. Wilson's first screenplay and breakout hit was Secretary, followed by the even kinkier Fur, and then the bisexual Fatal Attraction-style thriller Chloe, which Reitman executive produced. Could this collaboration echo Reitman's famous partnership with another female screenwriter, Diablo Cody? Speaking of partnerships, Reitman is working with Ansel Elgort here, and through a little bit of luck, Men, Women, and Children has become Elgort's follow-up film to The Fault in Our Stars, which was massively popular with the digital crowd. In fact, Reitman has an impressive ensemble cast here, ensuring this film will appeal to men, women, and children. But after a string of high-profile picks, Thank You for Smoking, Juno, and Up in the Air, Young Adult and Labor Day didn't garner much attention. Yes, it's important that people tweet about your movie, which means Hollywood is a lot like high school.
Back in the 1950s, there was this incredibly popular novel that was turned into a movie and then a TV show, and that novel was Payton Place. And the movie went on to be nominated for 9 Academy Awards in all the top categories, including Best Picture and Best Director. It didn't win any of those categories, but all of that still goes to show that Payton Place really captured the public's imagination. And Payton Place was the story of small-town America and how both parents and their children were dealing with sexuality. And the reason I bring it up here is because I think that Men, Women, and Children is very much a modern-day Payton Place. Now, whereas Payton Place had World War II as a backdrop, an event at the time that was changing the lives of everyone here in this country and the characters in the story, Jason Reitman's Men, Women, and Children uses the digital age as a backdrop, something I think we can all agree is definitely changing the world that we live in. And as I said in the open, this has a real ripped-from-the-headlines feel to it. But when we hear those headlines in our everyday life, as we so often do now, so many people are getting into trouble online, we think to ourselves, I would never do that. How could they be so foolish? But what's really great about Men, Women, and Children is that it contextualizes those mistakes. It layers in motivation, so they're suddenly not so black and white. And I have to say the movie really stuck with me. And with all due respect to Jason Reitman and his co-screenwriter here, Erin Cressida Wilson, I feel that it stuck with me because of the cast, which is just phenomenal across the board. And not only in terms of their skills, their acting skills, but also in that they're allowed to play roles that they wouldn't normally play. Ansel Elgort is an awkward outsider. He nails it. Adam Sandler as a sad, despondent husband with no self-esteem, he's perfect in the role. And who would ever think to cast Judy Greer as the stage mom of the most popular girl in school? But after you see the film, you can't imagine anyone else in the role, and she brings such a fresh feel to it. Also, another standout to me was Breaking Bad's Dean Norris, who, of course, I didn't like on the show because he was Walter White's brother-in-law and ended up being his nemesis. But here, he's very different than he was on the show, and he's also plays a really kind, caring person who's also very dateable. Now, also speaking of dateable, the one problem I had with the film is that several of the couples are cast to where they look actually more like siblings than lovers, particularly Adam Sandler and Rosemarie DeWitt, and then Ansel Elgort and the actress that plays opposite him. So I think it would be easy for some people to write this film off as just the most expensive after-school special ever made. But I don't think that's a fair comment, and I would also like to point out that after-school specials are famous for a reason. They also stick with you, and I think they also teach valuable lessons, cautionary tales, and that's what this movie is, besides being, I think, a well-crafted film. So I think you really need to think about it, and I also think it's a great starting point for adults to have conversations with the children that they know, either their own children or just children in their life, teens, etc., about the potential dangers of the digital age. And so I think, again, a great starting point for that conversation with others, and perhaps even yourself, because we're all guilty, I think, of making mistakes online or potentially making them, and you can see how easy they would be to make with this film. So that's my review of Men, Women, and Children. If you've seen the film, please leave your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for tuning into my review, and you can check out some more episodes right now.